Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living a Wholesome Life. And we are on week 20, day 2 of our positive, peaceful affirmations that we are doing every day, Monday through Friday. We are following Dr. Susan Lawton's book, Positive, Peaceful Growth Calendar. And if you love positive affirmations, if you love music therapy, if you love essential oils and aromatherapy, you are going to absolutely love her book. You can buy it at Aroma Tools or Oil Life. And the affirmation for this week is, I am happy being in the moment, which to me means we can discover joy in whatever moments we're going through. Sometimes the joy that we discover is just how beautiful nature is. Sometimes the joy that we discover is that we're going through this with those we love. We're going through life with those we love. Whether it's family or whether it's friends. And sometimes the joy that we have is just the closeness that we feel from God as He's comforting us through our different things. There are so many joys in life. So right now, I have 9 children, and the first 5 are off. The first 4 are married, and then I have a son who's serving a mission right now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or the surrounding area. Anyway, and so we have 4 at home. I have a 17-year-old who is a senior, and a 15-year-old who is a sophomore, and then I have an 11-year-old who is he would be in 5th grade. And then I have a 4-year-old. Now, I just wanted to talk to you about my 4-year-old for a minute, because my 4-year-old comes down like happy. Like every single day, he's ready to give hugs. He's ready to play. He's just happy. And yes, I know that he doesn't know the full extent of everything, or even close to the full extent of everything that's going on in the world, right? He still has that beautiful innocence about him. But I love that he comes down every morning fresh and ready to greet each day for the joys that it brings. And I know that so many of us are going through very, very hard times right now. But I'm talking to myself right here too. I'm talking to myself especially right here. But even as we're going through hard things, we can find the joys. I know that we are all smart enough and wise enough, and with the help of God, we can find the joys that are happening in our lives. And so we can enjoy being in the moment. As I was thinking about COVID-19 and the pandemic that's going around the world, I was wondering, what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want my children to remember that we did together during COVID-19? How do I want them to remember that we acted together? Anyway, so that might be something that we journal about. What do we want our family and friends to remember about us through how we acted in COVID-19? Okay, the affirmation so I'm being happy in the moment is the affirmation that we're working on for the whole entire week. The affirmation that we're working on for today is, I am aware of the details and just accept what is. So, Caleb, honey, thanks. So, being aware of the details. As I was thinking about this, and I wrote down some of the details that I would want to be aware of. And again, this is probably going back to how I was thinking of what do I want my children and my family to remember about me during COVID-19, how I was. And so I want to be aware of voices, and whether my voice is kind or not kind. Because when I want my family to look back and think, Mom was so kind during COVID-19. I also want to be aware of other people's voices so that I can help maybe diffuse some situations before feelings get tense. I want to be aware of faces for the same reason. I want to be aware of not ascribing bad motive to people, right? So I listened to a general conference talk on this that was given by, I think it was Uchtdorf. Yes, it was. And he was basically saying that so many of our feelings get hurt when we ascribe bad motive to people. And we want to be aware that the adversary is always going to want us to think the worst about people. And we are all human and we all make mistakes. And if we can ascribe good motive to people instead of bad motive, it can really, really help as we're interacting through this time, especially as we're in kind of closer quarters. So I'm going to put the link to that general conference talk in the comments. I think you're going to love it. I know that I loved it, and it reminded me of some pretty important things. Okay, I also want to be aware that I want to give grace, right? I don't want to assign bad motive, and I also want to be aware that I am not perfect either. Like, I am so far from perfect, and so I want to realize the grace that God is giving me, so that I can extend that same grace and forgiveness to others. I want to be aware of the good things that I am doing, and I want to make sure that I'm praising those good things, even if it's just like a detail that I changed, right? Being aware of the details. Even if it's just that my tone of voice was low, or I cleaned up something, or I don't know, I read with my little my son the other day. I want to be aware of that and praise me for doing good things. And obviously you want to be aware of what you're doing good and praising them and thanking them for it. Everyone likes to be thanked. Who doesn't like to be thanked? So whether you're just thanking with them, whether you're giving them like a little tiny special gift, or a special, I don't know, kind of incentive, not incentive for doing something, but a reward. Like maybe they get a little bit more time reading. Maybe they get to watch their favorite movie that night. Maybe they get just some special time up with mom or dad, right? For whatever they've done. Let's make sure that we're letting them know what they did made a difference in our lives and how special they are to us. I also, as we're talking about being aware of the details and accepting what is, I don't know about you, but I love staying abreast of what's happening in the world with the pandemic. I like knowing what's happening in each of the states that my family members live in, or where our good friends live. And I also think that as we're socially distancing from people, so we're not seeing the people that we usually do, that we want to be aware of the details in our friends' lives, our family members' lives. Let's be reaching out to them more through phone calls or texts or social media. So I know that one of the things that we started doing in our family, and we did this before the pandemic, but I have to say how grateful I am that we're still doing it in the pandemic, is that we have a family text loop. And so people will put, just things that are happening during their day, or they'll take little pictures or even little videos of what's happening around them or their family, and it just brightens everyone's day. So let's be aware of those details that we can do to stay connected. And sometimes it's just the littlest thing, just like a heart and I love you text, or I care about you, how are you doing today, right? Okay, so those are some of the things that I thought of that we might want to be aware of the details with. And then the second part of that is, instead of just being aware of the details, the second part is, and just accept what is. You know what? Sometimes we have to accept what is before we can move more into what we want, right? We have to accept, hey, we're all staying home, staying safe. That's one of the things we have to accept right now. Well, I guess you don't have to, but it'd be wise to accept that, right? So that you can stay home and stay safe and help to flatten the curve. But once we accept that we're staying home, then we can do our best to make home like this amazing, wonderful, loving, peaceful place. So whatever it is that you want to change in your life, usually you have to accept what is and look with reality about what is. So if you're facing difficult things, think about, what do I need to accept so that I can move things to a higher level. Okay? Okay, so that's the affirmation for the day. I'm aware of details and just accept what is. And again, I'm accepting what is so I can take things to a higher level. Okay, the music, the song that we're doing for the entire week is by Louis Armstrong, and it is What a Wonderful World. I think you're going to love it. It just reminds us to find joy in the moments. Anyway, and then the diffuser blend that we're diffusing this week is 2 drops of fennel and 2 drops of rosemary. Now, usually we have 3 essential oils that we're diffusing, but this week's only 2. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to start with fennel, and I will today give you all the emotional benefits. Well, not all, like no one can cover all, but I'll give you some of the top emotional benefits of fennel. And then tomorrow, I'm going to be giving the physical benefits of fennel. And then Friday, I will be doing the emotional benefits of rosemary, and then Saturday we will be doing the physical benefits of rosemary. We're going 1 day late because we started 1 day late this week, and you know what? It's all good. We're all rolling with what life presents to us. And isn't it wonderful that we as humans have the ability to roll with things and just change and be happy with the changes? Okay, so we're talking about fennel. Now, this is doTERRA's fennel. And the first thing I want to tell you about fennel is that you can use it 3 different ways. You can use it aromatically, so you can pop it in your diffuser and just smell it. So if the smell of fennel is exactly the smell of black licorice. I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. It's amazing how good it smells when you're diffusing it. One of my favorite fennel blends to diffuse is a couple drops of fennel and then a couple drops of spearmint. It just has like this amazing uplifting scent. So anyway, that's fennel. You can use it aromatically. So you can also use it topically. We'll talk about a lot more, how to use it topically tomorrow as we're going into the physical benefits. But you can definitely put a few drops into a carrier oil and just kind of rub it on maybe where you're experiencing some discomfort. And then, the nice thing about fennel too is that you can actually also put a drop in your water and drink it. Now, all essential oils are not created equal, and the only essential oil that I would ever say to put in your water and ingest or cooking and ingest is doTERRA essential oils. Now, this is why. Because a third-party test every single batch. They just make sure that the only thing in this oil is fennel. Like there's no additives, there's no fillers, there's none of the other stuff. So they third-party test it for that reason. And a super easy way to know if you can ingest your doTERRA essential oils, well, the one that you're looking at, is just to check. So here's fennel, and then here is the supplement facts. Now the supplement facts are going to look just like the supplement facts on your cereal box. They're going to tell you, how to use it. And it will say if it's for an internal use, it will say for internal use. Okay, so super, super easy way to just double check just when you look at the bottle to see, can I use this internally? And yes, you can use doTERRA's fennel essential oil internally. Okay, so fennel essential oil, it has very many emotional gifts, but one of the things it can help us do is it can stimulate our mind and help us think deeper. So 2 words that I think of when I think of fennel is choices and responsibility. Because in every experience, we have a choice on what we're going to do and how we're going to react, right? And we also have the responsibility for that. So choices and responsibility to me kind of go hand in hand. Some people call fennel the oil of responsibility. Other people like to call fennel the oil of choice because it reminds us that we do have a choice of how we act and how we react to things. So, fennel. Most people know that fennel is super, super good for to aid the digestion. Now, we're going to be talking more, well, mainly, we're not going to be really talking about that today. Mainly, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. But the one thing that I've said over and over again, if you're following me, is that what something does emotionally, or what something does physically, it also does emotionally. So if fennel is super good for helping you digest food and stuff like that, then it's also good for helping us digest experiences and emotions and the things that we kind of get, I'm going to just say, constipated with, right? The things that sometimes we have a hard time working through and letting go. So fennel is super good for that. So, if you ever have an upset stomach because you feel like you don't have control, you know, when like things are just getting really tense and your stomach just starts feeling like it's going to hurt, well, it starts hurting. So fennel is super, super good for that. It can remind us that even though experiences are happening, we have a choice and we have the power to make our life better. Okay, it can help us to have courage in new situations. It can help bring together the intellect and the intuition. Because of fennel's affinity for the liver, it can help with a wide range of emotions. It can help us stand by our decisions. It can help stabilize mood swings. It can help us when we're feeling overwhelmed with our responsibilities and a workload. It can also help us, as we're talking about feeling overwhelmed in our responsibilities and workload, it can also help us to decide what is appropriate service and what we should just let go because it's just not worth our time, or maybe it's not even our responsibility. It can help with those who feel little or no desire to improve their situation. They're just like, you know what, it is what it is. There's no changing it. We're just gonna, you know, go with it. And I believe that there's always some way to improve your situation, because I know how many of my situations have been improved by just a little kindness from someone else. It encourages people to take full ownership and responsibility for their choices. So if you're someone who likes to put responsibility and blame on other people, fennel might be a really good essential oil to diffuse, to remind us that we're the ones that are responsible for our lives. Fennel can help curb cravings for experiences that dull the senses. So if you're kind of overwhelmed and you're checking out by overeating or by whatever your favorite addiction is, fennel can help remind us that is not good for us, and it can help calm the cravings for what's not good, so we can start doing what is good for us. Fennel can help stimulate our mind. Remember, we talked about that before, but it can also stimulate our mind with creative ideas when we're bored or out of sorts. Fennel can be very helpful for people who tend to overthink or overanalyze things, or and afraid of making decisions. Do we sometimes all make decisions that are wrong? And so what happens when we make a wrong decision? We make a better decision, right? We're like, oh, you know what, that was a bad decision. Time to change up what's happening. I'm going to make a better decision. So don't be afraid of making wrong decisions. I think we're all going to try to make the best decisions that we can. Being human, and we're sometimes going to make wrong ones. And when we do, and when we realize that, we still have the power to choose and to change. Okay? It can help boost our confidence and get started on projects that we have been putting off. So I think fennel is a beautiful, beautiful oil to be diffusing, especially about now with everything that's happening in the world. So just wanted to remind you that the negative emotions that fennel can address is a lack of desire. an unwillingness to take responsibility, having a weak sense of self. So maybe when other people put too many burdens upon ourselves, and the want or the wish to numb out with addictions. And the positive properties that it can bring in is being responsible and taking responsibility for our life, right? We're not going to live in victim mode anymore. We're going to look at what is, look at reality, and then take the reins on our life and move our lives to where we want it to be. It can help us be more in tune with the body, with our bodies, and it can also help us feel satiated. And another word for satiated might be full, or at peace. Just at peace. It can help us love what we have. Okay, so that's fennel essential oil. I love the way that smells. I think you're going to love it too. Tomorrow we will be talking about the physical properties of fennel essential oil. Can't wait to get to them because they are amazing. Okay, so I'm just reminding you that the diffuser blend for this week is 2 drops of fennel and 2 drops of rosemary. And the song for today is by Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. Well, that's the song for the whole entire week. The affirmation for today is, I am aware of the details and just accept what is. Again, we're accepting what is so we can take things to a higher plane. And the affirmation for the entire week is, I am happy being in the moment. Okay, this is Suzanne Williams with Essential Oils, Health Matters, and Living the Wholesome Life, reminding us all that we have the power in us with God to make it a great day. Bye-bye.